I started this pile last week and it got a little out of hand. Books that I buy on the day they come out, authors that I buy on the day they come out. And it went from, I wrote my lists and I was like, it can't be this big. And I was slicing off and I was like, you know what? No, 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 no. And then I walked around the house and I was like, oh, this one, oh yeah, this one, this one, this one, this one. The pile got to this big. So the video was so long that I decided to cut it. So this week we're doing part 2. Welcome to If Then Fridays. Top 10 vampire authors, paranormal authors that you gotta have. Especially there's a couple of them. You gotta have the day they come out. But it got a little out of hand last week, and I'm thinking maybe I'll do some Regencies next week. I haven't decided yet. But I got all these books out, and I'm like, alright, let's do the video. Let's do another video. So, in no particular order, these are, I think, 10. There might be a couple extra, but these are the 10 vampire authors you must read. Oh, and this is the Daily Read Book Series. I'm Christina, Keri Arthur, Tina. This is where I read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, none of that fancy stuff going on here. Except, I ran into a car door the other day. So anyways, so let's get to it. This is just off the seat of my pants. There's no planning here. There's no speech. There's no written script. There's none of that stuff. No rehearsals. So these are in no particular order, and these are off the top of my head what I can remember from these series. I didn't look any of them up. So see how good I do. Now, this chick has a normal life, and she's proceeding with a normal life until one night she gets attacked. And she's left to die. And this vampire lord, kind of, sort of, he's in charge of her house, saves her and turns her into a vampire. And for the first number of books, she is pissed off to no end that he did this. Her family will be estranged from her now that she's a vampire. In this particular society, everybody knows that vampires exist. And we've got the werewolves and fae and all that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of politics in this. And, what was it? Colligan House, yes. And Ethan is Lord of the Manor, Sullivan. And, Merritt. Yeah, Merritt. Merritt and Ethan become a couple, and her best friend and another young man, and she works with her grandfather. I think he's in this agency, and there's a lot of politics going on with her family and the vampires and inter-vampire things. It's one long soap opera. It continues from book to book to book to book. So this is one series you need to thing out. Let me read the back for you. Sure, the life of a graduate student wasn't exactly glamorous, but it was mine. I was doing fine until Chicago's vampires announced their presence to the world, and then a rogue vampire attacked me, but he only got a sip before he was scared away by another bloodsucker. And this one decided the best way to save my life was to make me one of the undead, like I said. Turns out my savior was the master vampire of the Cadogan House. Now I'm trading sweat over my dissertation for learning to fit into a Kenwood mansion full of vamps, loyal to Ethan, Lord o' the Manor, Sullivan. Of course, a tall, green-eyed, 400-year-old vampire. He has centuries worth of charm, but unfortunately he expects my gratitude and servitude. Yeah, right. And she gives it to him. She challenges him on everything. It's fun to watch their interaction, to read about their interaction between each other. This lady, Sin and Raphael, become she's still mortal. I think 15 books in, she's still mortal. but he is head of Vampires in America. And each book is about a different guy, but this you catch up on the characters. It's an awesome series. I did them, and the vignettes, I showed them all. I did a DB Reynolds special a couple of weeks ago. There is a video out there on that if you want to go check out the fuller video on these. Powerful and charismatic Raphael is a vampire lord, one of the few who hold power of life and death over every vampire in existence. Thousands call him master and pledge absolute loyalty on their very lives. But in a brazen and daylight attack, a gang of human killers kidnap the one female he'd give his life for. Raphael turns to a human investigator to find his enemies before it's too late. Cynthia Lighton is smart, tough, and sexy private investigator and a former cop who's tried of spying on cheating spouses and digging out old bank accounts. When Raphael asks for help in tracking down the kidnappers, Sin is happy to accept, but she soon realizes her greatest danger comes not from humans but from Raphael himself because she falls in love with him. All right. There's 30 plus and hell. She occupies most of the top shelf. Okay? She, 1, 2, 3, full shelves of this young lady. If you haven't met the Carpathians, go check out my Christine Feehan reading order, Carpathians. We have the Carpathians, we have the Ghost Walkers, we have the Games, we have the Leopards, whole string. But the main branch is the Carpathians. And I think it's Michael. He first talks to his potential mate, telepathy, and he was going to kill himself, and she talks him out of it, and they slowly get to know each other, and she slowly convinces him to take his reins as king and come to that recognition, and the books progress, and you get 2 new leads each book, and they become backup characters. Visiting backup characters each book. And by book 30, you've got a gazillion backup characters that come and visit every now and then. And I like the celebration book. I think it's a Christmas book where all the characters come together and you catch up on all the characters. That was one of my favorites of the series. But you have to read them in order for the character progression. And I do have, if you watch my Christine Feehan reading order thing, I will vent on the fact that this series might not have flown so well after Me Too. There are little issues with the book. When they first came out, we spent the replies on Facebook were ginormous with all the talk about if this had come out during Me Too, and so people back me up with that. There are some things that happen. Say a magic spell, say this poem to this woman in the midst of a passion, and she magically gives up her free will to this guy, and she has to stay within a proximity. It's one of those things. But anyways, it's a really good series. Let's see. Nighttime Huntress. This is the first book in this series. Half vampire Catherine Caulfield is going after the undead with a vengeance, hoping that one of the deadbeats is her father, the one responsible for ruining her mother's life. Then she's captured by Bones, a vampire bounty hunter, and is forced into an unholy partnership and marriage eventually. If you can throw out all your vampire myths, throw them out. The dark only, seductive, glamorous, biting. If you can throw all of that out and be a lover of shoes and fashion, Queen Betsy's for you. Louboutins. You got to do the audiobooks at least once to hear the narrator. Louboutins. You just got to throw out all your vampireness, and it's just too much. Oh, I picked up the wrong one. This is book 2. I meant to pick up book 1. It's over there. It's called Dawn of the Dead. But Casey Daniels, I was comparing this to Kappa's book the other day. She investigates murder mysteries of people buried in her cemetery. They rise from they can't go on to the ever after because their murder remains unsolved, and they need peace of mind. They need to resolve that. So she solves their murder mystery each book. Rachel in the Hollows. I think there's 18 books in this series thus far. I've done quite a few videos on these books, so please check them out. Her relationships with Ivy and Kristen and Jenks and the gargoyle. I forget what the gargoyle's name is. But she has relationships with all these people, and you should read them in order for the character progression and for the storyline. But Rachel is a witch. She works for the sort of kind of paranormal police departments, kind of sort of. And then she gets fired and rehired and fired, and a whole bunch of stuff goes on with that. And the fact that tomatoes are against the law, I don't get it. But anyways, this is a really good series. Rachel in the Hollows. She's got to keep Cincinnati in hand. Okay. If you... Oh, I did forget one. Yeah, she's over here. She's over there. I gotta go get her. Wait a second. I forgot somebody. No, I didn't. She's in the pile here. I did both of these authors last year. I did about 10 or 15 books of each of them. This is Your Family of Vampires, and Marguerite is the matchmaker. And these are fun books. These are awesome, awesome books. They drink out of the bag. They get bags of blood from the blood bank, and they have the nanites. If you can deal with Stargate Atlantis and their nanites, you can deal with their nanites. But Marguerite plays matchmaker each and every book. There's also a little bit of a mystery to solve each book. A little something to overcome each book. But and then eventually Marguerite will get comeuppance. But up until the point, these are awesome. These are also will grow into a family. These vampires drink synthetic blood, and then they fight the malcontents who drink out of the neck, and they try to save people. And Roman is developing a major company. He's really powerful. He has his own industries. And his future wife, father, I think it's FBI paranormal branch, and he's determined to kill Roman. And she's got to play intermediary peacemaker. These are awesome books, so please go check all those out. The pile just fell. Another lady, if you can deal with the X factor of it all, and I mean, it leans towards the RX adultish situation, but the Keri Arthur Riley Jensen, she also solves cases. She works for the Bureau Industry something. The Directorate of Other Races, an organization created to police the supernatural races and protect humans. And she's got a twin brother. And she also solves cases each book. Develops relationships each book. But there's also a lot of adultness in each book, so we can get past that. But there is a lot of it's no plot reason why for the adultness either, so just gonna bring that up. This lady, I would buy this lady's book the day they come out until she stopped writing these and she went on to something else. I tried the something else and I was like, mm-mm. But up until this point, the first 13 books, I bought them the day they came out. But, Dead Until Dark, Sookie Stackhouse. Sookie is a telepath, and she's, tired of being able to hear everybody's thoughts all the time, and people think she's weird and all this kind of stuff. And she meets Bill, and she can't hear Bill's thoughts because he's a vampire. And it's just nice to be around him and not be hearing other person's thoughts. And it's a romance. There's a little bit of a murder mystery each book. They solve issues each book. There's 13 books. Charlaine cut it off. I'm glad Charlaine and Kim Harrison shut it off at the same time. But Kim Harrison came back to the Hollers. And all of her fans were very, very happy that she did that. And her books are selling well. Charlaine is firm that we will never see Sookie again. I've asked her a couple times on Facebook and she said no. But Sookie was great with Eric and Bill and Sam, the bartender, and her friends. This was an awesome series until she got up. It was also on HBO, True Blood. So if you want to go check all that out. We have done all of these books in order on this channel. And so if you could please check out all the videos for these books. Mercy Thompson, she's a shapeshifter, and she falls in love with a werewolf, Adam. And Adam's first wife is Christy, and she's Susie Homemaker up the yin yang, and Mercy is not. And so they've got relationship issues. She's also got relationship issues with Adam's pact. And they're still, even though they're so many books into the series now, there's still issues, but they're working through them. But there's a progressive storyline. It's one continuous storyline. Stuff is resolved each book, but there are still other stuff that comes up. And these are awesome books. I love going through with these characters. And then there's also an Alpha and Omega series on the other side. That's also good. But this is your Mercy Thompson series with the Fae and the vampires. Stefan is a really close friend. I've done videos on all of these, and it's also on Passionflix right now. So please go check out all my videos on these, please. J.R. Ward's Black Dagger Brotherhood, Dark Lover is technically book 1, but when I start the series, we start with Darius. Darius is 05. She just wrote Darius a couple of years ago. It's the prequel to this, but once you read this, you know what happens in Darius. So you might as well read Darius first, because that's like the first 2 chapters in here is Darius. So that's what happens. But if you want to know the backstory to it, you read Darius first. But please go watch all my videos. The Black Dagger Brotherhood, Vicious, Rage. I love Vicious's relationship with Butch, John Matthew, Tor, Wellesley, Beth, Wrath, the whole gang. Each character gets their own book. And all the brothers get their own books. And, but all of these guys have had really torturous childhoods. They were all treated horribly as children before they went through their transition and got their powers. But they were vampires. They were absolutely horrifically. And, she starts out light. I'm still buying these ladies' books the day they come out. You think that's long, you should see the Sherrilyn Kenyon side over there. It starts out really light with Fantasy Lover. And we get a smidgen darker with Night Pleasures. And a smidgen darker with night embrace. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. About 15 books in, give or take, Acheron. And I always tell people, if you're one of those people that want to cry your brains out, read Acheron completely. And if you're one of those people that want to cry your brains out when you read Acheron again, read the whole thing. If you're one of those people that don't want to go here, read the whole book once. Future rereads, start with part 2. Okay. Skip part 1. It's a huge book. It's like this big. It's very heavy. And so Styx, the brother's book, his brother's book. But the characters become more tortured and more abused and more lack of self-esteem. And Acheron is just like, he is the most powerful person in the entire world. And at some point in his life, he feels lower than the floor. And he's told he's not, worthy of walking on the same dirt that those other people are. And he eventually becomes the most powerful person in the world. And, these are a tad bit on the lighter side. But I love my Black Dagger brother. Now, for my Queen Bee. Sorry. You want to know how much we love this series? Do you want to know that we will buy Missy here, regardless of anything? Years ago, I belonged to the fan club. These are not even in any kind of order. But anyways, guilty pleasures. Anita is she works for the Regional Preternatural Investigation Team. She also works with Bert, Raising the Dead at Animators Inc. That's her full-time job. She makes money with Animators Inc. And she's a vampire executioner. And in the beginning, and if you go watch my original video in the kitchen of this series, because I did the whole series. I eventually went back and did the whole series. Did each book. And I may go back and do it again, for quotes or something. I mean, I need to figure out how to do it again. But in the beginning, Laurell was planning on killing John Claude. So it became a bone of contention at one point. Because not only did she tell John Claude no, but she was a hard cement no. And 8, 7, 7, 8, 8. Can't no. Burnt offerings. Yeah, it wasn't Blue Moon, so it's got to be either burnt offerings or not the lunatic cafe that's earlier. The killing dance. It's got to be one of those two. Her and John Claude finally do it. And so when you're looking at this book, and she's not only no but a cement no, just know that in 30 let's say 3 because it hasn't happened yet. She's delaying. She may or may not do another Jason book. She's done 2. We've talked about them before. And then do the marriage book. But she set up a Jason thing in the previous book in Smolder. And she has to resolve the Jason thing before she can do the marriage thing. And she wrote a Mary book. So the Mary book supposedly sort of kind of coming out this year. And then next year we may get an Anita book. And if we do get it, I'm assuming, I could be wrong, that it'll be the Jason issue. And then the following book. So we may not see the marriage till 2027, 2028. If we're all still here by that point. Who knows what's going to happen between now and then. But this is a really, really good series. To tell you how bad, I have it on audio. I also have it in comic book form. I was looking at this earlier today. Anita Blake, Vampire Hunter. She works with Dolph and Zabrowski, and I've shown these. So if you want to see them all, go back and watch my Guilty Pleasures comic book edition. But so we have the two covers, and I have the poster. I haven't found it yet. It's upstairs someplace. But this was a poster. So the first 3 books were made into comic books too. So that's how much Anita Blake stuff I have. There was also Edward's card. And at one point there was a newsletter. And is there any more? Yeah. But anyways, so that's how much I like Anita Blake. She is a vampire executioner. She raises the dead. She eventually, with all her hard cement nose, like I said, if you like the murder mysteries, the first 9 books are perfect. If you're an Edward fan, go ahead, read Obsidian. If you're not an Edward fan, skip it. No big deal. Then starting with Narcissus in Chains, and Incubus and Breams, and Cerulean Sins. Cerulean is first, then Incubus, I think. Yeah. Incubus is the culmination. Incubus is like this. It's like a huge book. And I have 2 copies because one is my first edition and one was signed, and I won't give up either one. So that's what, and I have them all on audiobooks. The later ones I have on Audible. But she's my favorite author, vampire. And my favorite, and I've talked about this in last week's video, my favorite non-vampire person is Eve Dallas, J.D. Robb's Eve Dallas. This is always a pre-order. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. And hey, go check out all my Sunday unboxings too, and my readings on Saturdays. We're reading Stephanie Lawrence right now. But we're going to be reading J.D. Robb. We're going to be reading Jana D. Leon. And so if you could please hit the like and subscribe, I'd surely appreciate it. And if you want to join Anita and John Claude and Edward and Dolph and Zabrowski and Sigmund the Penguins and eventually Jason, Nathaniel, and Micah, and of course Richard. The triangle between Richard, John Claude, and Anita, the triumvirate that gets if they had stuck with the 5, like John Claude, Richard, Micah, Nathaniel, Jason, and alternately Damien every once in a while, if they could have stuck there, but by book 30, Anita's in bed with 20, 25, 30 people. You've got Raphael and she's starting to spread out into the ladies. It's a large group now, but that is not the same Anita as over there. They're two different, completely Anitas. So anyways, I hope you have a good day. And please hit the like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Have a good one. I think I went overboard, didn't I? Have a good one.